He defended like Kawhi. He scored like Kobe. He flew higher than anyone before him. He was hungrier than LeBron, more feared than Shaq, and more clutch than Steph. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 league MVPs. The face of a global revolution. This wasn't just basketball. This was Michael Jordan.
Listen, Michael's the best I've ever seen.
Michael was a great player, and I just tried to do the best I could against him.
There's just one thing in watching him play, and then there's another thing in playing against. His technique was flawless. I wanted to make sure my technique was just as flawless.
But how good was he really? Michael Jeffrey Jordan was born on February 17, 1963, in Brooklyn, New York, but raised in Wilmington, North Carolina. He was the 4th of 5 children in a working-class family. His father, James, worked at General Electric, and his mother, Dolores, was a bank teller. The Jordans were a grounded, disciplined household. Michael grew up learning about hard work and responsibility from an early age. But Michael wasn't the biggest or strongest kid. In fact, when he first tried out for the varsity basketball team in high school, he was cut. That humiliation drove him to practice relentlessly, to work until there was no doubt. It was here that the legend began, not in the NBA, not in college, but on dusty high school courts, where rejection turned into obsession. Jordan's drive eventually carried him to the University of North Carolina. Under legendary coach Dean Smith, he learned discipline, teamwork, and how to thrive under pressure. In 1982, as a freshman, Jordan made the shot that announced him to the world, a jumper in the NCAA championship game against Georgetown that sealed the title for UNC. That was his first taste of glory. He didn't shy away from the spotlight. He embraced it. By his junior year, Jordan was already a household name, and the NBA was calling. In 1984, he declared for the draft, and the Chicago Bulls selected him with the 3rd overall pick. That moment was the start of something that would change basketball forever. Stephen A. Smith once reflected on this journey, saying, "I think about the road to prosperity that Michael Jordan had to travel. I think about what the 76ers were in the 80s, what Boston was in the 80s, what the Lakers were in the 80s.
I think about the road to prosperity that Michael Jordan had to travel. I think about what the 76ers were in the 80s, what Boston was in the 80s, what the Lakers were in the 80s.
Jordan's path wasn't easy. The Eastern Conference was brutal. He had to go through Larry Bird's Celtics, Julius Erving's Sixers, and later the Bad Boy Pistons, who built an entire defensive strategy just to stop him. As Stephen A. added, although Michael Jordan didn't win the title, the road that he had to travel to ultimately ascend to the point he got to once the 90s rolled around. It was trial by fire. Every series was a battle. Every defeat carved something sharper into his game.
And although Michael Jordan didn't win a title, the road that he had to travel to ultimately ascend to the point that he got to once the 90s rolled around.
Unlike modern stars who sometimes form super teams, Jordan had to endure, to build, and to conquer without shortcuts. That's why, as Stephen A. put it, the road was tougher for Michael Jordan. And it was that toughness that defined him.
Says a lot to me. I think that LeBron James, it's not his fault, but NBA rule changes had changed drastically from the Bad Boy Pistons.
In 1986, Jordan exploded for 63 points against Larry Bird's Celtics in the playoffs. The Bulls lost the game, but the performance was so electric that Bird himself said, "That was God disguised as Michael Jordan." It was the first time the world realized that this wasn't just a great player. This was something supernatural. That game didn't bring a championship, but it brought something just as important: fear. Opponents began to see Jordan not as a man, but as an inevitability. He didn't need titles yet, the aura was already forming. By the 1990s, Jordan had broken through. Championships started piling up. In total, 6 titles in 8 years, with 2 separate three-peats. No Game 7s in the finals. Perfect on the biggest stage. He was not just winning, he was dominating. Stephen A. once summed it up: "There's been tens of thousands of players in NBA history. I have one man above LeBron James, and that's Michael Jordan."
there's been tens of thousands of players in the NBA throughout history. I have one man above LeBron James, and that's Michael Jordan.
Why? Because Jordan was flawless when it mattered. He wasn't just another all-time great. He was the bar. Part of Jordan's mystique was how he carried himself. Michael Wilbon, who spent decades covering him, explained, "I have talked to Kobe and Michael Jordan. None of them call themselves the greatest. Instead, they would point to other players. The only person that is acceptable when they say they're the greatest of all time is Muhammad Ali, because he changed the world and society. What did LeBron do?
They point to other guys, as you know, and say, oh, wait. Kobe and Michael would say, wait a minute, he didn't win as many championships with Jerry West. Hold on, you better mention Kareem. They would all mention Bill Russell. So the notion that anyone is saying, I'm the greatest, there's one guy in the history of sports I give total pass to saying I'm the greatest, and that's where GOAT comes from, Muhammad Ali. He's the only one who gets to say, I'm the greatest. Vented the conversation. He was, and to me, still is the greatest because he didn't just change his sport, he changed the world.
Changed society.
He changed the nation's position on war.
Jordan didn't need to proclaim himself the GOAT. His game spoke for him. That humility combined with his dominance made him bigger than basketball. He didn't chase the label, he embodied it. Stephen A. echoed the same, calling out the difference in eras. LeBron and his camp tried to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan, Kareem, Bill Russell, Kobe, Steph, Tim Duncan. They didn't call themselves the greatest of all time, but that man did.
They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him.
Jordan didn't ask for validation. He forced it. Jordan redefined basketball in every sense. He made the game global, becoming the face of the NBA and elevating it into a worldwide phenomenon. He was a 10-time scoring champion, a Defensive Player of the Year, a 5-time MVP, and a 6-time Finals MVP. He played 82 games in multiple seasons. He left, came back, and still conquered. And as Stephen A. said, the road was tougher for Michael Jordan. That's the final stamp. In an era of brutal defenses, legendary rivals, and no easy paths, Jordan didn't just survive, he dominated. So how good was Michael Jordan really? He wasn't just good, he was transformational. He was the player every kid wanted to be, the opponent every defender feared, the man every analyst still measures greatness against. He passed the test of time, he passed the test of pressure, and he passed the test of history. Michael Jordan was not just a player, he was basketball itself.